Hey, welcome back to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message again for anyone that lands on this message. I always like to do my lives that way. If you are a particular zodiac, you'd want to check out the already pre-videos that I don't do live. But when I'm live right now, as I'm building the channel, I want to pull in people. So I like it to be open to anyone that resonates. And there's a part of me that actually believes that spiritual energy goes to the person that needs to hear the message. We can have an intention for a specific zodiac to for the message to be for. However, spiritual message always goes to the person that's in need of hearing the message. That's how the universe works. We get what we need, not necessarily what we want. Well, again, so know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. So if you're here to find out what your spiritual blocks are and your person's spiritual blocks and how they affect the relationship and how they play out and how they're going to play out within your relationship, then this is the channel for you, because this channel is all about soul healing. Because whether you want to be in this connection today, tomorrow, or maybe you won't want to be in this connection tomorrow, if you don't heal your spiritual blocks, they follow you into the next relationship. Soulmates are all about teaching you lessons. They come into your life to teach you a higher meaning of life. So again, they teach us where our shadows are. So in this reading, we're going to look at your past life connection. Why did you two meet in this life? What is the point? Again, from a spiritual perspective, this person came into your life to teach you something that you didn't learn in a past life. There's a soul recognition. That soul recognition transcends all time and space. It's a past life karmic mate that came into your life again, into this life, to teach you the lessons that you hopefully will learn that you didn't learn in the past life. So we look at the inner child wounds to see why you're born in certain families that you're born into, what the spiritual wounds are, again, and then how they play out within your triggers, the behaviorisms, the triggers, and then what the hidden truths are, and then how to heal and integrate the spiritual wound. Because really the only way to heal yourself of a karmic cycle that keeps repeating, it's to change yourself, is to integrate the spiritual issue. So again, if you're new to the channel, that's just a little bit of a description of how my readings work. To really get the full benefit, you have to sit and watch. And if you're interested in winning a free psychic reading with me, all you need to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the day. The word of the day today is going to be patience. You're going to write patience in your comment bar. And if I write the word winner underneath your comment, you and I would just correspond back and forth on YouTube, figure out the best time and day that works, and we'll set up a reading for you. No, all readings are done live because I believe in spiritual law, what's best for everyone involved. And that includes for people that just wind up falling on the video and resonating with it. They might have needed to hear your message because they're going through a similar, issue or have a same spiritual block. So I always like to put that out there. And don't worry about the day of, like your stream. A lot of times people say, oh, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how I'm going to find the link. I always post a link right underneath your comments. So the day of your reading. Okay. Just wanted to put that out there. Anything that you need to know about the channel, you can find in the description box. Definitely, if you want to heal the effects of your trauma, you definitely want to check out my subscriptions. All my tiers for the subscriptions include inner child healing, shadow work, reparenting, breath work, meditation, EFT, NLP, and more to help you to really integrate the effects of your trauma, turn those spiritual wounds into spiritual gifts. Again, learn how to quantum jump into the reality that you want to experience. Now, we're going to look into, we're going to see what's going on with you and your person. Why did you meet this person? What are the spiritual blocks? A lot of times we can tell what our inner child wounds are, what our shadows would be from a past life. Believe it or not, it gives us clues. So this is why we want to see. And I always pull 2 cards for this. Okay. What is the spiritual connection? What's the past life connection? What was the experience that you and your person lived in a past life that taught a certain lesson? Because when we live certain experiences, they shape our perception about ourselves and the world around us. And that is really what creates karma, because our karma is based on our reality. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the true reality. It means it's our perception of the reality. Okay, vows. So this definitely talks about a marriage, definitely a marriage. And also I'm feeling like when we vow to honor something, that something is very, I'm feeling like a vow to honor a certain way of being. Maybe it's a family culture, maybe it's a heritage, maybe it's again a religion, maybe it's a certain belief. It's a vow that like you hold almost over your own wants, needs, desires. But a vow is definitely a promise. And again, sometimes this could even mean like a karmic contract. Sometimes we vow to do something and we were in a certain consciousness, and now again we are not in that consciousness today, and we still feel binded to something. Again, unrequited love. So this tells me almost like you are connected to somebody that you don't really feel like they're giving you love, and that they're actually are connected to someone that there isn't. It's not, there's no, it's not based on a real love connection. So again, in from a past life, people used to, their parents used to set them up, right? It wasn't that in modern times that you met someone, and today that you meet someone, you're attracted to them, you like their vibe, you want to get to know them. This wasn't that. This is, what was convenient. So I'm kind of feeling like you are connected to somebody that is either you are connected to them or they are connected to somebody that, again, that they don't really want to be with, but nevertheless, you being connected to them, you're not getting what you need because they're connected to somebody else that they don't really want to be with. And in a past life, I feel like that was the story too, that there was a vow that was taken, and that it's like either you or your person, and I'm kind of feeling as the person that you're connected to is honoring that more than what they want themselves. And it's this like unrequited love that they're bound to something that they don't really want to be in. And so let's see how that played out into why they were born in certain families that they're born into, why they're experiencing certain things that happened way before they met you. Understand, inner child wounds happen in childhood, but we wouldn't have them unless, again, we had certain past life traumas that we didn't heal and integrate. So let's see what those were. Again, guidance. So I'm feeling like the guidance, it's listening to other people, not really doing what's best for you. So back in the day, we didn't really want to go against the grain. We didn't really want to go. And that seems to be the story lately because I just did a reading from my other channel and it was similar. So it was more about, again, a person that was too afraid to find their identity, why they were. And that's, like I said, a lot of times when we grow up in a certain environment, we inherit certain belief systems. And then we try to live in alignment with those belief systems and we don't really don't feel right to us. But in order for us to live and maintain in those confinements, we have to detach. And so, again, I believe that you're connected to someone that is getting really bad guidance. And this would be a lesson already about learning to listen to one's own true self instead of learning to be miserable. I mean, unrequited love means that, you're not getting what you need on an emotional level. And all because, again, you took a vow, keeps you bound to feeling like you're not deserving of love. So listening to the wrong people, I believe that you're connected to someone that's surrounded by people that don't really have their best interest at hand. Again, wonder. So again, they do wonder, though, again, like what it would be like to actually venture onto their own. There's a desire. For whatever reason, I don't really believe that there was a desire before. Remember, people stay wounded because they're comfortable. Healing doesn't feel good because it means that we have to change our environment and then we have to deal with the people that are used to us acting a certain way. And so I believe also that the people that are connected to your person are wondering when this person is going to wake up and actually do what they want to do. And also there's a wonder within you, like, what is going on with the person that I'm connected to? Like, why aren't they really here? Well, they're not there because they're not really living what their life, what the life that they want to live. When we take a vow, again, and we're now binded to someone that we don't really want to be with, but we're too afraid that we're going to, change the entire dynamic of our life, because in changing this, we change everything. We have to be strong within ourselves. So I'm feeling like your person has gotten to a place of where they are starting to at least wonder what it would be like. And they were always curious. They were always smart. I feel like your person is bound to people that know that they don't really want to be together, that they don't really want to be with them. They don't want to be there. It's a two-way street. So they're connected through money. They're connected through, again, appearance. They're connected through outside things. But your person, I believe, for this wonder card to come up is almost like going through an awakening. And that comes when we go through like a kind of a tower moment. And the tower moment is that things aren't really working for them. You can only stay detached for so long. There is a spirit part of everyone. When that spirit part of ourself is that God part of self, and that is the supernatural part of ourself that is really supposed to be able to connect to people and be able to go out and find ourselves. It's the passionate part of ourselves. This person's bound to people that they don't really want to be with. Again, crafts and creativity. And I believe that because they're not really with you, again, you're a very creative person. You're a very intuitive person. So our inner child wounds aren't always, we're not always crying in a corner. Sometimes trauma, what happens is we become more creative. It pushes us to become more internal. And I feel like, again, our past life connections tend to bring up feelings and emotions from the past. So if you grew up in an environment that didn't really make you feel that strong, didn't make you feel really that supported, the way that you dealt with it was through your own unique individuality is connected to that creativity, but it's again finding yourself through crafts, hobbies, just it could be even like I'm feeling some people even doing cards, even doing just finding yourself. Because again, that trauma being connected to someone that isn't in their truth, so they can't give you what you need, is bringing out your wounds. Because again, when you feel a person that's supposed to give you love, that you can feel this deep spiritual connection and they're not giving you anything, and you're like, okay, why is that? It makes you look at yourself, but not because there's something wrong with you. It's to look deeper in yourself, because no one's supposed to be able to make you feel as if you're not lovable or that you can't have. The person that you're connected to stays in that situation, but not necessarily because they want to. Again, they're going through an awakening. So we look at their shadows, because the shadows are going to tell us how you triggered them, how they trigger you. And that will give us clues on how to integrate the wound. Because whether you stay with this person, like this person, whether this person even stays in your life, doesn't stay in your life, it doesn't matter. The wound will stay in your life until you integrate it. That's why it's important. But if you want to shape shift this situation, you would have to heal yourself and integrate the spiritual wound. All right, so the wound, negativity, pessimistic. So I feel like this person tends to have, again, low energy due to not being in their true self. When you try to emulate somebody else, when you try to live by other people's rules to fit in, because your survival is based on that, what happens is that you don't get good life experiences. Especially in this situation, the situation that they're bound to, there's a lot of negativity because they can't be their self. And everybody knows that nobody wants to be together. Like they're bound through a business, they're bound through some monetary thing that they have to stay in this confinement. But in it, it creates more and more negativity, because, the reason why we're down here is to give and receive of love, to become the vibration of love by doing what we love through the connection. And so this person isn't even who they want to be. They're pleasing everyone else. But they're also able to like live this facade that they're like an important person, that they're doing something good, that because they're helping other people, but also because there's monetary gain, but they're empty inside. And what happens is people like to say, oh, what are the consequences? The consequences are negativity and pessimism wind up not making for good relationships, make the person become like an asshole, because they're living more from the ego state of mind. These are very black and white. You're dealing with just the physical world, the physical elements of the world, which is money, which is business, which is not really, there's no empathy, there's no sensitivity. This person has shut their heart off. So that's over time, you say, well, big deal. Well, when a person has a heart attack or has heart issues, by the time that they're 40, it's not so much that's a big deal. People have to change. And if they don't change through the fact that they're living miserable and they're bound to things that aren't working through just having that facade, having other people perceive them, and then you're connected to them, you're not getting anything. You're bound to like your wound of not like getting what you need, being bound to negativity. And maybe you grew up with somebody that was very pessimistic, very negative, and that's maybe their life was hard. There's a lot of reasons why people are negative, but it means that they're stuck in a perception of themselves and life, and being around that type of environment over time makes you negative. It's like being next to rotten fruit. You put healthy fruit next to rotten fruit, the good fruit becomes rotten. You become a product of your environment. Again, knowledge and wisdom. So again, there's a sense of, you say, well, why am I connected to this person? And so again, you needed to obtain the spiritual wisdom. I believe that is part of your path. So you have to say, well, what am I supposed to do? Well, and the whole reason why you're down here is to give and receive of love, to become the vibration of love. And that you can't have shadows, parts of you that you detach from, parts of you that you've rejected, parts of you that you disassociated from, that then you don't fully learn the experience. So the wisdom that we're talking about is spiritual wisdom. And we can't really obtain that until we know what we're deserving of. And maybe again, it's you break family karma through seeing this and through again realizing where your shadows are. And sometimes we're like, well, that it? Well, like I said, that doesn't mean that you can't influence this person's life. It's not just about the karma that you learn, and good, this could be good karma, like inheriting the wisdom so it raises your vibration so that you can notice when someone isn't really real, someone that is again just a facade, where it's what I feel like your person, because they're bound to like other people's wants, needs, life. So it's again learning to how to be strong and to be your true self, and actually looking at yourself and realizing that maybe that was something that you needed to learn and that you learned it, and that it's a remembrance of what it looks like. And now you come into this person's life, and you living your life as an authentic being teaches this person, because they don't know how to live. They don't know how to even begin to do that. So people learn through how other people live, right? We inspire through, again, our walk. Soulmates, not all the time you're with that person. Sometimes, it's you just make such a grand impact, and vice versa. And so intolerance, closed-mindedness, then that's that this person is, again, intolerant and they're closed-minded because, again, they're coming from a place of fear. So again, we're going to look at two more shadows, one for you, one for them. And sometimes those shadows, those spiritual blocks, you mirror, you have the same, right? And so you're like, well, I feel like I healed that. Well, maybe you healed that, but you're not grounded it enough, meaning you learned the lesson in your mind, but Spirit's saying, well, are you walking that walk? Are you becoming the vibration of unconditional love? Are you giving and receiving of love? Are you, again, like connecting to the world through your uniqueness, through your unique individuality? Can you go with the flow of life because you're in passion? Are you balanced in this? Do you have that part of your identity? You'd be like, maybe I need to find it. That's through your soul's path. And so Spirit's saying it's to become the vibration of love. That's by doing what you love. And then you can always set the appropriate boundaries. You always have the right perception. No one can ever come too close where you overgive or undergive. It's just the right amount, because you're trying to control. And control, when you're connected to a person like this that really can't give, because they're you don't know where they're coming from, because what they're coming from depends on what their environment is going to tell them what to do. Because they're not strong enough within themselves, they're afraid. And so you're becoming, again, that strong version of yourself, doing just, again, what you feel. And that's courageous to this person. That's courageous to this person. Okay, so out of sync. So again, this person doesn't feel as if they fit in. That's their, again, and maybe you felt like you didn't fit in, right? Again, birds of a feather flock together, and maybe you're a highly sensitive person. You think a lot, you internalize a lot. This person thinks a lot, they internalize a lot, but they're not coming from the right vibration. Maybe there was a time that you understood what that felt like, but again, you haven't grounded it and fully integrated it yet, where you're seeing that full different version of yourself. You haven't seen it, you reap the rewards of healing and fully integrating that spiritual lesson. Sometimes people say, why do I keep getting this energy? I already learned, I already forgave, I already let go. Why? And the reason why is because it needs to be fully integrated. So what is their wound? Again, in the dark. You are keeping yourself from knowing. So I know that I asked already about them, but I feel like they feel out of sync. I feel like that's, you also feel a little bit, again, like always like a little bit different. And that could be you were the black sheep of your family. You always, again, were a free thinker, had to, again, become strong in yourself by, again, going up against people that weren't going to agree with you. And you did that from day one. Your person didn't. So, again, but this person wants to keep themselves in the dark. And they want to keep themselves in the dark because they're afraid. It's, if I change, what am I changing into? Where am I going? Who am I becoming? Too many thoughts trying to, and you really, it's, again, we can't be in our mind to figure things out. We have to be in our passion to figure things out. We need to be grounded in our physical body and doing what we love, because then we're guided by our gut, our intuition, our inner knowing. We're, again, in our passion and we're living our bliss. This person is living in survival mode. So they're never gonna, as long as they stay in that place, it takes faith. Faith is a bridge that connects us, right? But it's only if we're doing what we love and we're in that passion. So we'll see what the triggers are, because the triggers are really more for you at this point, because this person would trigger us because they would make us feel not loved. They would make us feel they're not giving us anything. They're not coming close. We feel a connection, but they're not. Where is it? So, but being connected, we already see what their issues are. And it's not that it's not important what their triggers are, but the truth of the matter is this person chooses to stay in this level of consciousness, and we feel that we're bound to them because there's such a spiritual connection. What is it that we're supposed to be learning from this in order to help? Because we want to release it, we want to integrate it so that we can pull someone to us that will give us what we need. And this way, this person that we're connected to actually eats the karma. And they eat the karma because we go on and move on with our life. And this person, the whole while, had feelings. They just weren't strong enough to, again, go up against everyone else that they had to go up against. And that's because a lot of times we say, why did I have to go through this? And what was the consequence for that person? That person, again, isn't showing their feelings, but it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. And you moving on with your life and having a happy life would be their consequence, because there's only one you. So we look at your triggers more importantly than theirs for that particular reason. You want to stay stuck, stay stuck. Okay, enough. I had enough of your bad temper and disrespect. I feel like every time you tried to talk to this person, they would turn it around. And it was more that, again, like that you would say, like, you would ask for normal things, like having more, like having them spend more time with you, whether that was, I want to say more intimacy, but not in a way of like sleeping with this person, but like real connection. They were being real surface with you, not letting you get close is what I'm trying to get at. And you could feel that they were just breadcrumbing and not letting you get close and just hooking you on. And that this spiritual bond that you both had, they were like, this is enough for me. And you're like, it's not enough for me, because you're bound to somebody else that you don't really want to be with. And every time I ask you about it, like you turn it around on me. You project. And I had enough. Because you took it as if you were disrespected. But Spirit's saying, were you disrespecting yourself by staying connected to this person? Because, again, they were showing you in the beginning, right from the beginning, who they are. One-sided relationship. And that's where, again, emotionally, you weren't getting anything. They expected you to keep giving, like, because they're like, well, we have this strong spiritual bond and they understand my situation and it's just going to work out magically. And it's like, but you're not giving anything. And they also, I feel like, perceive that they don't need to give you anything because you come across like your life is all put together, that you're happy, that you have everything that you need. And they don't want to seem vulnerable, like they care too much. So there's a little bit of ego in there too, because they don't really like who they are. They're not really living their truth. So there's a lot of reasons why it's a one-sided relationship. But then what the lesson for you is, it's not enough. It's not enough. I'm deserving of more. And then again, avoidance. I felt you were ashamed of me and were avoiding me. So it's, again, I feel like not ashamed, but maybe because they're connected to somebody and they're connected to this way of thinking and being, which is from their tribe, right? How they grew up, their environment, whether that was their church, whether that was whatever it is that taught them to think this way and be bounded to people and situations that they don't really want to be. It would make you feel like they're avoiding you. You're like, oh, again, what, you don't like me? Am I not good enough? So Spirit saying, so that's what your wound is. Feeling not good enough. Feeling, again, like you're emotionally not getting enough because there's a lack within you. No one can make you feel that way. No one can make you feel that way. Hey, Wendy. So, that's what the spiritual message was here. And kind of saying that no one should have been able to make you feel that way. Those are your shadows right there. So again, we're like, oh, great. Okay, so I still want to know what this fucker is going to do. Even if, they're avoided, but are they ever going to catch up? And Spirit saying, well, let's look at your archetype. Like if you integrate the archetype and become that other version, this person is still a soulmate. This person is still connected to you because they haven't learned the spiritual lesson. That lesson, they didn't break the lesson. You can't do that unless you actually learn the lesson. So they're still connected regardless of what they're showing you. They're good at not showing their feelings, again, because they're good at detachment, because they vowed to be connected to situations that are actually one-sided for them. So again, maybe staying in a divorce, maybe staying in a relationship or to people and whatever it is. So we have to say they haven't learned the lesson yet. So we have to say, well, how do they learn a lesson? And they're only going to learn the lesson by doing something different or by you doing something different. And if you do something different, then they're the ones that are stuck. Most, not just learning the lesson. It's almost like, who cares if they learn the lesson? We want them to feel bad. Let's face it. Like if we're connected to someone that made us feel bad, we're like, well, why do I still feel bad? And I feel like they don't feel bad. This person feels bad. They're just not showing you. But understand, once you cut your energy and learn by integrating the lesson, then you become that other version. You'll be able to feel this person again. So it's to understand that's, we have to look and see, what are you supposed to learn? What is the archetype that you're supposed to integrate? But why? When we're connected to a person like this, okay, child divine, innocence, purity, and rendition suggest a special connection with the divine. So when sometimes you're very an empath, a highly sensitive person, have a connection, tend to look at the world through rose-colored glasses, that it's it's not, unfortunately, we have to learn true light through living darkness, right? And so we wouldn't know the difference. So I'm feeling like the light attributes would also be, who are you as a divine being? Why are you here? What's the bigger purpose to life? The bigger purpose to life is that you are a divine child of God, and that you're not here by mistake, you're here by design. Have you put enough time and energy into finding yourself, into creating yourself, into giving yourself the love that you so seeked from this person that was only capable of giving a one-sided relationship, which was all about them, because they don't get what they need being connected to these people. But that's how they survive. They survive through departmentalizing. Their mind is justifying why they're connected to these people and why they are not going to live their truth. So the lesson here was to learn that, again, there's a bigger purpose to why you were connected to this person, and that spiritual lesson is that, and that they had said. But I also want to look at, I'm being called to look at another deck, because it's like, we're also going to look at their hidden truths, just because they did this, right? The unrequited love, they're connected to somebody that they don't want to be with. They avoid you. They have feelings for you. I still want to see, like I said, their hidden truths, because again, they could be in a place of, really suffering, and also in a place of addiction to deal with that suffering. They could be in a place of a tower moment where, when we're usually phony and living amongst people that don't really care, well, that environment doesn't stay the same either, because people tend to either want more and more and more, or they just dispose of you. And that's because when we abandon ourselves, which is what this person is doing, they're abandoning themselves by being connected to people that aren't really like honoring them, that don't care about them, that is one-sided relationship. Then what happens is, those situations that we think that are so stable, that again, we're getting, again, in this situation, the person's getting to keep their facade of who people perceive that they are, it falls apart. It's abandonment. It's almost like if you met a person that you fall head over heels for, and they come into your life, they rush into your life, and you don't really know who they are, and you give up what you're doing. Like, let's just say you're building a business, or you're on this workout routine, or whatever it is. What happens is, if you give that up because you're codependent, well, it's, again, you abandon yourself, and there's karmic consequences for that. We're not allowed to abandon ourselves. So we say, well, what the hell is the spiritual lesson? Like, what are we supposed to understand, or from this person's perspective? So we look at the twin flame soulmate. Our inner guidance is clear, but our ego is resisting it. So this person, again, is that that they're not listening to their higher self. They're letting the ego run the show, which is what we know. In order to stay bound to things that aren't giving us anything, which they're giving us status, they're giving us money, but they're not fulfilling us. See, we can be rich and still feel empty inside. And so people say, oh no, I just go out and buy everything that I want. Yeah, and you would have really a lot of fun for a long time, but eventually you would want love. Eventually you would. So I'm feeling like this person has been bound to this type of situation through a past life. Remember, that's what it said. In past life, this person had this energy, and they came into this life and they created the same experience. So maybe they have a baby mama that they feel like they're bound to, and they don't really want to be bound to that, or they have an obligation and that's how that's playing out. So they know the truth, but they're resisting it because it would mean changing everything, and that means going up against everybody and everything, and means everything that's not built on truth collapses, and this person feels like there would be nothing left. I'm feeling controlled by people around me. Oh, really? And I don't like it. It's pushing me to find my power again. So this is why you say, well, again, why did I come into this person's life? Well, again, for them to change. Do you think that they would care? What makes people change? Love. Does that mean you'll be together? Not necessarily. Sometimes this person, again, they don't want you to see everything. They didn't want you to see everything. That's why, again, it was a one-sided relationship. However, it's again them seeing how you live. Come into their life, you're living free. You're not controlled. Yeah, and they have feelings for you, even though they tried not to have feelings for you. So this person is someone that likes to control it. Is controlling their environment. They can't control this. They're realizing, wait a minute, this is something that's a little different. What makes people change? That right there, love. Love makes people change. It makes us do what we normally wouldn't do. We find the courage to do it. So we're like, okay, so what are their hidden truths? I'm going to pull 3. And then we're always going to pull shadow healing cards because, again, we can see that this person has shadows and you being connected to this person that, like, it's keeping you. There's a part of you that is, again, needs healing. So we want to know what the shadow is because we want to integrate it. And I'm feeling, again, it was to, again, create part of your identity because this person represents passion. But we're going to look and see what the homework would be because Spirit would say, well, there's a reconditioning of the mind sometimes. I hope that you can forgive me one day. So this person, again, knows what they did and knows, again, how you've taken it. But they have an ego and they're like, I can't really come clean and tell you everything because that'll shatter the illusion. And I need you to, like, believe that that's who I am. I left you before you could leave me. I believe that 100%. And I was going to say that, I believe that this person knew that you were never, if you got up close and really saw who they were, they were like, I'm not good enough for this person. I'm not good enough for this person. And also look how they live their life. Look what they're going to want. Look what they're going to expect me to be. I like the facade of what it looks like. And it doesn't mean that I don't have feelings, but it's easier to stay in the 3D because this person's detached anyway. They're connected to people that they don't want to be. So that means part of them is in daydream land, fantasy land, detached from life. And so having you connected to them is they could escape into that realm almost, but that's not healthy for them. So really, I think that they thought that they could protect themselves through leaving you before, you left them. But what they learned was they just hurt them more because it's like, hey, that's unconditional love there. You didn't ask to love this person. This person didn't ask to like you. It's just what happened. And it was a divine connection. Spirit says, yeah, to like create awakening within both of you. Now, does that mean it couldn't work out? No, there's many different realities that play it at one time, depending on what you two decide to do. And what we see is that this person is still kind of in their ego, but they're trying to change. They're in the beginning stages of changing. I hid who I really am from you. I mean, like, we already know this. We already know. That's why they wouldn't get close. Okay, tell us something that we don't know. Tell us, like, that they suffer, like, without us. Tell us, like, something, again, that we want to know, like inquiring minds want to know. I mean, that's the ego, where Spirit's like, that's not the point. It's like, what's the point for the dust part of self? The dust part of self is the ego part of self that's like, hey, this person hurt me. I want to see, like, some sort of remorse. We will be together again. See, like, I mean, a little cocky, because this person is like, I'm not letting it go. It's like, no, I'm not doing anything to change that, but I hold it in my heart and I hold it in my mind. And like, almost like, if I think about it and imagine that I can manifest it, it's like, you got to put actions in there. It's got to be grounded. However, the more obsessive this person is, I believe that they are a manifester. I just believe that they have to get completely uncomfortable to change. So in their mind, that this is what they think. I'm going to just pull a random card because I'm being told to. I want to work things out. Again, even more competition, even more. It's like that. I want to work things out. It's like, all right, like you want to work things out. So how are we supposed to take this? Because I'm sure now I have trust issues, right? It's like, because you've done, but the truth of the matter is when it's unconditional love, you won't be able to turn this person away if they say, hey, I want to work things out. That's how God's sneaky. That's how the universe is sneaky. It's like, well, it's unconditional love. You can't control it either, even though you're like, hey, I don't like the way that this played out. Like, you should be a little remorseful. How are you going to fix this? And so Spirit says, well, how are you going to fix you? All right, well, look at the shadow then. What's the homework? The point. It's like, because it's aggravating to be like connected to someone that, like is living a lie. Like, and you're like, I can feel I'm psychic too. We have an intuitive connection. It's like, you're trying to make it like I'm crazy. I'm not. Spirit says, well, the whole thing is that you can't control unconditional love. This person's trying to. You too are trying to, because you're like, I don't like the way that this looks. They should be like fixing that and being over on this end. And the person's like, God saying, well, they're using you as a catalyst. Mixed messages. So, yeah, that it's misunderstandings and neglect create more confusion, which is what this person wanted to do to keep you stuck. But all right, but what were we supposed to do about this? Create an at craft store, find smooth stones and paint pen and small pouch. What feelings drive you when you send mixed messages or signals? So again, we want you to write down like the feelings that this person stirs up in you, because the feelings are the gateway to the wound. You want to know what your wound is, because you don't want to keep attracting people that do this. And you want to make sure if this person is going to change, that they fully change. That's why. So it says, pause to check in with yourself before you interact with others. What are your feelings, thoughts? Make sure you align with your actions, nonverbal communication. Well, I feel like that's more what this person would need to do. I feel like for you, as I said, it was, yes, set boundaries, but it was to not give as much to this person. I believe that sometimes too, soulmate relationships is it an equal learn lesson? Not all the time. Sometimes it was a test for you to see, are you worthy? Are you worthy of more than what this person is giving you? And I believe that you were saying, yes, I am. I believe the lesson for this person is just because there's a soul connection and you can feel how much that person cares about you, if you don't give to them, you're going to lose them. And that's what happened here. And that's what made them turn around and be like, well, I don't really want to lose this relationship. We're going to work things out. I don't really know how, but that's the first step, because then it's up to the divine. And because again, then Spirit brings people, situations, experiences that change them through them being interactive and at least having an open mind. The beginning of this story, this person didn't have an open mind because they were coming from a place of fear. So I would take it as you can do these little exercises to integrate your feelings of being around people that don't give you what you need. But the end of how you would need to integrate it is to give it to yourself. Because in integrating it, what you're telling this person is, I don't care. I don't need you to do it. My cup is so full, it's overflowing. And I know I will attract someone else that gives it to me. You, however, you're bounded to something in a life that you don't really want to be in, and I will be gone eventually. And the pain of them knowing that you will be gone is what is making this person want to change. And even though it might not seem like big changes, there's still changes. And inevitably, Spirit says it was a divine connection for that reason. And again, for you to pass that test so that you can be open to attracting that energy that you're supposed to get into your life. Now, is that going to happen on a relatively on this soon side? I mean, we can pull a card to actually see whether that will happen. I just want to see, to get around about, will you meet somebody if this person again doesn't ship up, or it doesn't ship up in this right amount of time. But Spirit says it wouldn't matter what time, because when divine connection, it's the divine time, which is not up to you or that person. It's divine time, which God says it means that that's my time when I feel you're both ready. Well, can we pick somebody else then? And then Spirit says that, yeah, you can pick somebody else. Everybody has free will, but that doesn't mean you're going to get what you want. So what? Are we going to meet someone anyway? And then Spirit says, no, not right now, because the star reversed. So we're going to leave it there, meaning it's a time for you to be in healing too, because if your heart is really with this person and this person has time, it was more about you putting the energy into yourself, because otherwise you're still going to attract the person that emotionally can't give you what you need. That's why Spirit's no, the wound is still the wound for you. You need to integrate it. And that means do what you need to do, but the person comes back in divine time when Spirit believes that you've done what you were supposed to do and they've done what they've supposed to be done, and that no person has control over it because it's a divine relationship. And you're like, well, why the hell would I get this? And Spirit says, because maybe you both were taught that, again, this unrequited love by family, by people that you believe that were supposed to give you love. And so you needed to learn what unconditional love really looked like, meaning you can't get involved. It's not about you controlling it. It's not about this person controlling it. And both of you are control freaks because of what you've been through. So I had to teach you. So it's a frustrating relationship, but it was one that, again, it was nevertheless divine. So I'm going to leave that there. Thank you all for tuning in and staying and sharing your energy with me. I really appreciate y'all, and I will be on again tomorrow. Bye. Mwah.